know what the significance of 124,000 is?
No.
It's how many rows Excel has. Okay. I hope it's a number you never find out.
No. Me too.
So, I mean, I think what you basically you get, I mean, I think you get pretty good data back, but I mean, what we've ended up having to do is all around the bridging stuff, which basically muddies the waters, is pull apart actual numbers from bridging influenced outcomes, and actually we kind of look at it as we're looking at a GP like Chris's. We'll basically go, what's the investment machine doing? And with analytics, we can line up their investment machine with their peers, and then we turn it on its side. So we don't look at the funds. We look at the performance in the sectors and the vintage years and find out who's done what, which is actually quite helpful because that actually tells you how the investment machine operates. And then the other bit is fund management, which is the bridging stuff, use of the bridging lines. And you can actually look at these, you can pull it apart. You have to integrate it at some point, but you pull it apart and you look at either individually and get a point of view on both. And that's actually what we end up talking about quite a lot. And to do that, you need a lot of data. So, and then when we send out the questionnaire, the RFI, I mean, that's what's in it. There's a template that basically says send back the information that we need to do that and to build what we need to build. And it's quite a lot of information. And we have actually had someone break Excel. Credit funds break Excel, basically, because they've got so many inter-day flows that they can explode out a lot, and somebody broke it. But buyout funds generally don't, but credit funds do.
So a manager comes to you, raise a new fund, say, we're not going to do any consumer retail going forward because it's a terrible space to be in, so we've removed that from the track record. You would ignore that and you'd run your own study anyway.
Well, yeah, I mean, for sure we'll try and get to the bottom of it. And again, the other thing around this, which you've got to be super cautious of, is the data transparency and the analytics. Certainly, if you think about the 100% bar that goes into every decision, the sort of data element keeps rising. And for the most part, you can get the data if you persuade people that they have to give it. You can probably get what you need to get. But don't forget the bit at the top, right? Because the insight in the bit in the top, which is actually the human factor piece, if you like, is also fundamental, and don't get drowned in the data. So you need to have the data analytics to support the decision, and we will ask for everything, but we'll also use the bit at the top to try and figure out, are we getting everything? Because you don't know what you don't know. So if people present you a record and it's actually half of it, because the other half's been quietly chucked in the waste bin, you need to know that it's in the waste bin to ask them to pull it out so you can see everything again. So you have to be a bit thoughtful about how you sort of use this stuff, basically.
And the other side of the coin is, putting together synthetic track records for first-time funds or spin-out groups. Chris, in your case, you had a new fund line that you launched early this year or last year.
Yep.
Maybe talk a little bit about how you used your existing track record to kind of make sense of that.
Yep. So this is what we call our Growth Opportunities Fund, and in essence, the strategy was to do large-scale minorities in predominantly tech-enabled businesses. So the notion was that with the buyout fund, which is where we have a pretty heavy and long had a heavy technology skew, there are lots of businesses that we looked at, really liked, exactly the same characteristics that we would like to own in that fund, but where the opportunity to buy control simply wasn't there. One feature of of technology becoming more and more part of the wider economy is that businesses grow really, really quickly, and if they've grown really quickly, then there's a pretty good chance that the original founders or shareholders might still be there and might not want to sell control, and so the only way to get exposure to that business, if you like it, is as a minority. So that was the concept. What it meant was that, as a track record matter, we had historically done some minority investing, but it hadn't been, and we were not going to pretend that it had been a core piece of what we'd done. And so what we needed to demonstrate to the investors was that we knew the space pretty well, and that we had the controls and the mindset to make a success of minority investing. And essentially what we did was to lay out our technology track record, demonstrate that we'd successfully invested in this space over a period of time, evolving the different themes that we'd invested behind. And then really the piece about minorities and the different form of governance was really, to Jim's point, that is helping people to understand the people that were going to be making those decisions. That I don't know that we had or could even have pretended to construct a data set that really would have provided a data-based substance for that piece of the record. So really it was about the two things. One, we know the domain really, really well, but the other piece was much more about the people that were going to be executing on that strategy.